Good morning, beloveds. Don't mind me. I guess I'm a little discombobulated this morning. When I walked into the room, I was like, there's no cats in here. Yeah, there were. He was just on the other side where I couldn't see him. And then promptly the cat in the other room followed me in here too. So he's at the floor by my feet and the other one moved over to the hot pad. Okay, it is February 21st. Our title is Finding the Christ in Ourselves. Oops, I got the title slightly wrong. Okay, Finding the Christ in Ourselves. And our author is Emilie, Cady, from How I Used the Truth from 1939. From Unity. Okay, so cite our sources. Throughout all his teachings, Jesus tried to show those who listened to him how he was related to the Father, and to teach them that they were related to the same Spirit in exactly the same way. Over and over again, he tried in different ways to explain to them that God lived within them, that it was not the God of the dead, but of the living. And never once did he assume to do anything of himself. He always said, I can of myself do nothing. The Spirit abiding in me does this work. But it was very hard for people to understand, just as it is very hard for us to understand today. There were, in the person of Jesus, two distinct regions. There was the fleshly, mortal part that was Jesus, the Son of Man, and then the Son of People, because, he had a mother. I'm sorry. Commentary. Then there was the central, living, real part of that Spirit, the child of God. That was the Christ, the anointed. So each one of us has two regions of beings. One of the fleshly mortal part, which is always feeling its weakness and insufficiency in all things, always saying, I can't. Then at the very center of our being is something that in our highest moments knows itself more than conquer over all things. It always says, I can and I will. It is the Christ child, the child of God, the anointed in us. Okay. Call no man your father on earth, said Jesus, for one is your Father, even he who is in heaven. All right. So, let's go ahead and deal with the fact that I struggled a little bit with reading. Why did I struggle with reading? Because I'm a woman and I get tired of man and him and her and father and all of that. I get tired of the gender stereotypes. I also get tired of the gendering of God. And one of the reasons why I get tired of the gendering of God is because people have used the gendering of God to do terrible things. It's like, well, if we're made in the image of God and God is a man, then women are less than because we're made in the image of, but we're not quite the same. We're not quite as good as. So it really, so I also gender neutral. So, that's a big reason why I gender neutral. But I gender neutral because it's inclusive. Okay? I don't believe God is masculine or feminine. I don't believe God is either one. And yet, at the same time, God is both because God is everything that exists. I don't want to narrow God down to one gender. I don't want to narrow God down to two genders. Mostly because I don't believe there are just two genders. I've read world mythology. I've read world religion. I've read world history. There are quite a few more genders than just two. And even biology will tell you that. So, what do they say? Come at me, bro. Don't, because I'm not going to have that argument with you. But, so one, I'm trying to be inclusive, and two, I'm trying to take some of the limits off of God that our language has put onto God. Okay, so those are a couple of the reasons why I gender neutral. I can't always do it, especially when I'm quoting, and if I change the wording, it doesn't make sense. But that's my particular soapbox. That is my particular soapbox. And like I said, as a woman, I get tired of he and him all the time. But I also don't want to alienate anybody by going her and she and her. I mean, I would get tired of that. So, hence, gender neutral. Apparently, I also woke up slightly angry this morning. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It's a beautiful day out there. So it's one of those things, maybe I need to look around and say, okay, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? Up to and including that I was watching a news story that was talking about diet and mental health. And I was like, so I'm grateful for that, because the point was, you know, I switched to a slightly higher protein diet, trying a lower carb diet for my mental health. And it helps. And that they were bearing that out. So, which is neither here nor there. Okay, so, according to Miss Cady, the point, what Jesus came here to teach, he came here to teach us a couple of things. One, love, and two, about the center of us, the core of us. And I talk about the core of us. I talk about, it's at towards the end of the when I go into the usual stuff that I say. I talk about peeling back the layers of everything that you have been told you are, to get to what is the core, the center of you. What is the core and the center of you? Well, according to her, one of the things that Jesus came to teach us is what the core center of us is, which is the Christ consciousness. Now, frequently when I talk about the Christ consciousness, I talk about it like software, okay? My mother was, she's retired now, an electrical engineer. I grew up with computers, you know, like I was that kid who had a computer in my basement growing up. And I was one of the few kids with a computer in my basement. I didn't realize it at the time, but it neither here nor there. So she's talking about two regions. And so I agree with her. We have two regions. This, the hardware, you know, the fleshy mortal vehicle that we walk around in. And I get what she was talking about, the weaknesses and the insufficiencies and the frequently it says I can't, you know, because it's not designed to last forever. It is designed to last for as long as we need it, provided we do regular scheduled maintenance. Okay, so there's that caveat. That we do the regular scheduled maintenance. So, but it's not who we are. Okay, it's the hardware. It's not the running program. Her other region is the Christ within, the core center of us. So at the end, when I say peel back the layers of everything that you have been told, get to the core of you, get to know who the divine knows you to be, because that's the person, the center of you that the divine knows you to be is the divine. That is the core of you, the center of you, or your software, the software that runs this hardware. That's the Christ consciousness. Okay? Jesus' name was not Jesus Christ. Jesus' name was it was Ben Yosef, son of Joseph. It was Jesus, son of Joseph. Okay, so that was Jesus' name. The Christ is a title. Okay, and it's not even a title. It's it's the central part of us. It's the divine spark of us. It's the creative part of us. It is the part of us that is God. You know? And New Thought gets into a lot of trouble because we talk about being God. Okay? No. We talk about being part of God. We talk about the fact that we are this sliver of a greater whole. we would never presume to be the whole. One, that's not possible, and two, it's so far beyond our comprehension that anybody who could think that anybody who could think that they were God is obviously crazy. You know? If you think you're all of God, you're crazy. But if you think you're God, and that's where they get us, because they don't understand. And that's what Miss Cady was talking about. It's like, look, there are two regions of you. There is the fleshy mortal part of you that frequently says, I can't. And then there is the central part of you, the Christ consciousness, the core of who you are, the spark of life within you. And that is the Christ. That is the divine. That is the Spirit. That is God. And it can. And I like the fact that she said, not only does it say I can, it says I will. And that's the part of us that we want to listen to when we are doing spiritual work. We can listen to the fleshy part, but frequently the fleshy part will lead us wrong, because it will tell us that we can't do something. And then the spirit of us, the part, the soul of us, the central goodness of us, the Christ consciousness within us, says I can and I will. And when we listen to that, amazing things happen. Which is why Jesus would frequently say, I of myself can do nothing. Okay? I of myself, I can do nothing without the Spirit within me. The Spirit within me is where my power flows from, where my power comes from. What power am I talking about? Creativity, life, peace, love, all of that. You know, that all comes from the Christ consciousness, through the Christ consciousness. That's why I talk about it like software. It makes sense to me, you know. And in 100 years, they'll be talking about the Christ consciousness as something else, because we will have evolved beyond computers, I assume. I don't know. I doubt I'll be here to find out, because, you know, I don't know that I want to be 150. Maybe not. We'll see. All right. So, yeah. Got a little weird there. You never know what you're going to get with me, but you can always guarantee I'm going to get a little weird. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Make regular trips to the source of your own being. Okay? Get to know the source of your own being. That's what Emilie Cady's call is today. Go to the center of yourself. Meet the core of yourself. Meet the part of yourself that is immortal. Meet the Christ consciousness. Meet the soul that you have individualized, and follow that connection back to source. That's the mission today. It's the mission every day. Some days it's a little more explicit than others. Today, go explore your core. Go explore your core. And you can do that through meditation and treatment and reading sacred literature and listening to amazing music. You know, whatever it is that gets you to the center of your being, do that. And do it more often. Do it more often. That is the mission today, should you choose to accept it. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day, which is the mission of it is the spiritual practice of self-care. Yes, self-care is a spiritual practice. I did say that the hardware of us does require regular maintenance, okay? What does that look like? Do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. Give yourself time to rest. Give yourself time to take breaks. Give yourself time to take naps, you know? Give yourself that pause. take that deep breath before you speak. I talk about doing loving, kind, and compassionate things for yourself because in the end, my goal is that everything you do for yourself and others is loving, kind, and compassionate. That is the goal. That is the goal. Okay? And you are your own best test subject. But more importantly than that, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. Practice on yourself. Okay? So what does that look like? Taking a deep breath before you speak. That's one, it's easier to not say something than to make amends for something you didn't mean. But it's also, about giving yourself a chance to respond rather than react. All right? I like to say take a walk, take a nap, take a break. I mean them literally and metaphorically. I'm a big believer in walks. I love walks. I get up most mornings and take walks so that I can get my joints moving. But I'm also a big believer in walking away from things that don't serve you anymore, or walking into new situations. So you can take it both positively and the other way. Naps are exactly what they sound like, turning yourself off and turning yourself on again. But it's also about stress management, and then taking a break. It's about perspective. Go do something else for a little while. Go do something else for a little while, and then come back. And you'll come back with a fresh perspective. So I also like to remind you to eat dessert first occasionally. One, yes, I do believe chocolate is the first step to fixing anything. That's just me. I do know people who don't like chocolate, shocking as it may be, which is okay, because more for me. But what I mean by that also, metaphorically, is don't save the good stuff. Don't wait for a special occasion, make the occasion special. So wear the fancy clothes, eat the fancy foods, do the fancy whatever, whatever it is that you don't do very often, go do it now, okay? Don't wait for a special occasion. Go ahead and take an ordinary Tuesday and make it extraordinary. All right. I'm also going to remind you that joy is a quality of God. Joy is a quality of you. No matter what is going on in the world, you still deserve joy. So please make room for joy every single day. Don't skip a day with joy. All right. The rest of the suggestions are just basic self-care. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is important. Your brain works better, your skin looks better, and your body works better when it is well hydrated. Get that early in your morning bright light. The sun the last couple of days, it's been just cool enough in the morning, but the sun's been out. The sun feels really good on my skin. Okay? So the science, circadian rhythms, 5 to 10 minutes of bright light as soon as you can when you get up in the morning. It will help to reset your circadian rhythms. You'll have more energy during the day and you'll sleep better at night. So try it. If you can't get out and get that sun, science says 7 to 9 in the morning is the best time. Support your vitamin D, all that stuff. But if you can't do that and the light in your house is not enough, then you can Google sun lamp or seasonal effect disorder lamp. It's been extremely important over the darker part of the year. We're headed into the lighter part. You may not need it as much, but Okay. Yep. And Ernest Holmes quote, open the windows of your soul, allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. That quote reminds me two things, which is why it's my favorite. One, it's all God. If you break us down into our most fundamental parts, which is, as of right now, the photon, quantum physics, it's all God. Because we're all made of the same stuff, just in different arrangements, okay? It's infinite varieties of manifestations from the one. And that is one of the best things about being alive. It's like infinite varieties of the one. It's like unification without uniformity. I'm down with this. Okay. But it also reminds me that the Christ consciousness, and that's what we were talking about today. We were talking about the Christ consciousness. It's not the heavenly mindset. Heaven isn't a locality, as one of our authors quoted Ernest earlier. It's not a locality. It's not a place we have to get to. It is... It's a mindset. Once you learn to create it for yourself, two things happen. One, nobody can take it away from you. And two, any place can become heaven. It moves from a state of grace to a superpower. You can be your own superhero. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. That's the best thing about learning that the kingdom of God is within you. You know, that learning to create that heavenly mindset. Any place can become heaven. And who wouldn't want that? Doesn't mean bad things don't happen. It just means we know we'll be okay. So, in the end. And if we're not okay, it's not the end. All right. And you can always look for good, take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice, look for the good and praise it. So that is extremely important when you're dealing with creating that heavenly mindset. One of the things that I've leaned into this month, especially because it's a short month. So every day, sometime in the day, do you need it first thing in the morning to set your day? Do you need it last thing at night to get a good night's sleep? Write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And try not to repeat them for a week. And if you can do that, then try and do it for a month. And then post the list somewhere where you can see it when you need it. Gratitude will get you everywhere. That's what Emma Curtis Hopkins says. Look for the good and praise it. You want to start creating that heavenly mindset? That is the best first step. Look for the good and praise it. All right, beloveds, I am going to move off into the process of my day. So I'm going to remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I commend them to you. I encourage you to go and follow and subscribe and like and share. It is all of those things that you can do that support us in getting our message out and bumping our algorithms, which then sends our message a little further. And all it costs you is a click. All right. Thank you very much. And I'm going to remind you that if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. Especially right now because our website is under construction. You want to know what's going on? Email info@creativelife.org. It's a constant contact. You get about 1 email a week unless something else happens. Because, real person doing it, he ain't got that kind of time. Okay. Forward. Oh, and there is a special event today. We are rerunning the Raymond Anderson Soul Session because he was so good. So good. So, be on the lookout for that at 7 o'clock tonight on Facebook Live. All right. I don't know where I was going. I guess I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a Christ consciousness day, a heavenly mindset day, a Wednesday. It's Wednesday in 2024. A hug your fur babies day, a silly day, a get stuff done day, a you got this day, a good day. And if that's too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God. Or as one of our other authors, because this is my favorite phrase ever, you are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, as Reverend Jesse likes to call us. You are a godling. All right, beloveds. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. Like I said, we do have that event with Raymond Anderson around 7 tonight, so please look out for that. Or you can go to the YouTube, and it is on the Soul Session playlist. And then take care of yourself, know that you're loved, and I'll see you next time. Or I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. I probably forgot that. All right. Know that you're loved. I will see you next time.